Ready when you are.
Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and call this agenda meeting to order and get an invocation from Commissioner Gail Neidinger.
Dear God, as we meet together, may we be mindful of the service we provide to our city and our obligation to do what's right for our citizens. Grant us the will and desire to aim for goals that are high but attainable. We ask for your blessing in keeping our first responders and city personnel who unselfishly serve us free from harm. Amen.
Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and Carly, if you can call the roll, please.
Neidinger,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Thompson, Reed,
Here.
Penny.
Here. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in today and joining us. We're going to conduct an agenda meeting and then immediately be followed by an administrative workshop. Looking at the agenda I see that all I have on here is the approval of the minutes for the month of November, which I'm sure there's not a problem with anybody approving that. But is there something else we think that's going to be coming for that meeting?
Possibly from the workshop that we're about to do, possibly.
Possibly. And if not, then would we have to have this meeting? Could those minutes be rolled over to approved into the new year? Or instead of just coming in for a 2-minute meeting?
That would be a question for the city attorney, because we are.
That guy?
We are called. We are called to have a regular commission meeting every month,
Okay.
so. We can check.
You want to get back to me on that?
It's in the charter that we will do a regular commission meeting every month, but I will
Okay.
check.
Okay,
So,
all right. All right, well, I'm sure everybody's fine with this.
It's the first time I've ever seen like nothing.
we've had, it's rare, but we've had one or
Yeah.
two over the years. It's rare,
Okay.
it does happen. And you still do, then you do public comment and all, like you do the,
Okay.
Well, let's get an answer to that and
Look
find
forward to
out.
I will look into that today.
Yes, yes.
I'll get back to you.
All right. Okay, well, then we are going to go ahead and,
Uh-oh.
I don't see anything in your ordinances that would require it. Do you have,
It is somewhere.
it is somewhere?
I'll let you guys,
Okay.
That's why we do it like.
you guys can talk about it afterwards and let us know.
Summer break, we do it like the first business day of July, and then you technically do one toward the end of August, so even though they're real far spread apart, you do one every calendar month.
You're right.
So I'll have to look.
Okay. Even if we might have something else in here.
You do, it's just where is it? Is it in a resolution, or is it
Right.
in, it's on the books, but
Yeah.
I'll find it.
We'll find it. I'm sure you'll find it.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to adjourn and move to our workshop. I had a hammer.
God, if I had a hammer.
Rocks and necklace down here on the floor?
From my showing.
You have enough room there?
Yeah, I've been known to forget my computer.
Please.
My mouse.
You do.
You know me.
When you have show
I
and
don't
tell.
usually need the mouse if I'm just buzzing around this thing.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and call the administrative workshop to order and go for another roll call, please. please.
Nidinger,
Here.
Thomas,
Here.
Thompson,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Penny.
Here. All right. And our first item is Waste Connections. Looks like we've got a rate increase request. And Ian is on his way up.
Yes.
Good morning once again.
How you doing?
Hey, Ian.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Is everyone ready for the holiday?
Yes, we are.
Just coming, thanks again for allowing me. I'm Ian Boyle, Waste Connections, Government Affairs Manager. I know I've been doing this contract for a long time, and been the same goal since day one, is to try to keep the phones from stop ringing and be there when it does. So hopefully, you know, with Sean's help, who's been fantastic, hopefully that's been the case. So we're just coming here for our annual request for a CPI and increase. Your contract currently is got a 2.5 capped rate, which we're looking at as far as the CPI side. Our controller who did the index calculation, if we didn't have that cap, would probably have been 3.7% increase. So the cap was in favor of the city. The other part of the increase is actually something that's not, is just basically a pass-through. Pinellas County increased its disposal rate again, and they're planning on doing it again next year. They did it, it was basically the vote happened, it was for the next 3 years, 6.8% every year. The county's basically been trying to catch up to the rest of the disposal facilities in the Tampa Bay area. So it was always $37.50 for the longest time, where city of Tampa is like in the 70s, Hillsborough County's in the 70s, and yeah, some areas are even more than that. So the county hired consultants, and the consultant said, if you don't start raising your tip fee at one point, you're going to probably just going to have to go from $37.50 to like $60, which then would have made all of us come back saying, hey, we need a 10 or 20% higher, you know, to increase the rate. But they decided what they were going to do is basically do like 6%, give or take, over a period of time. They did it for 2 years, then they didn't stop, and then they're doing 3 more years. And I wouldn't be shocked if they came back and did it again at some point. It's just the reality of everything. But anyway, that part to cover our disposal side would be 1.4%. So the total rate adjustment between the CPI and the new disposal, which basically is just a pass-through, would be 3.9%, effective 1/1. And that's basically it. And if I have any questions, please.
How much is that increase? I'm looking at this chart I got here in the back, but it looks like this already has the increase built into it. I don't see the comparison of what it's going up.
I
$1,
don't,
$2 a week.
it's
Not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the
Yeah, that's where, it says, that's commercial, we get rid of digital.
yeah. So if you're looking, I don't have that exact numbers. It basically would be those rates minus the 3.9%. So 1568 is probably right around 1530, 1520, something like that.
Is that like a monthly?
That's the monthly rate.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the monthly rate.
30 or 40 cents a month.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you, we have properties in the unincorporated areas of Seminole. We pay 1/3 of what they pay because we have a contract with our city.
Yeah, what helps you here, and every contract you look at is individual, what helps you here is the fact that you have a large amount of commercial. I will tell you, a contract we have, which basically has no commercial, their rate is right around $32. Because there's no commercial to kind of help
Did
balance
you
it out.
count the condos as commercial too?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
The
yeah.
condos basically is kind of what helps you here. St. Pete Beach is the same way. St. Pete Beach has, around 300 to 400 commercial compared to its 3,000 single family, so that helps it out. But when you go up the beach, you hit like Reddington Beach, they have like 4 commercial accounts, that's it. And that's how we always basically, anybody who does a bid, that's how they do it. What's your revenue coming in? Do you want to balance it out, put a little more into the commercial, because the commercial could absorb it a little bit more to bring the residential down. It all depends. But here, what helps you guys definitely is the fact that you have those commercial rates. So that helps us. So I apologize for not having that comparison, but it's basically, it's this number minus, basically 4%.
A truckload is considered how many yards? I mean, 2 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 8, why?
Phil, these are for the size of the cans, the containers.
Oh, okay. Depends on the size of your dumpsters then.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thanks, son.
Yeah, so this is basically 8 yards you mostly see at larger condo complexes or, restaurants and so forth. 2 yards you'll see at like a flower shop or whatever, small plaza. But it's been pretty much, as far as, first question I always ask my district manager, Bill, who apologized for not being there, he's in Texas for meetings, is how things going, and he says everything's been going fine, and then Sean backs that up. So if there's anything that is going wrong, you guys always know you can give us a call and let us know.
And when I do talk to Bill, if there is an issue, which there very seldom is, it's the problem solved like that, I mean, it's a very positive, even a bad phone call was a positive phone call, speaking with him, I mean, it's just good.
I'll say, he's one of my closer friends with the company, and I'll embarrass him. But
He's not here.
No, and I work all around the state. Currently in the middle of working on a bid for Miami Beach right now, but Bill Krimmel is one of the best, if not the best. And he knows this county, and he knows the beaches, as the back of his hand. It just you're lucky to have him. We are lucky to have him, just to let you know. So.
No, I agree.
Does anyone have any,
No, happy with our service.
Service is great.
okay.
Good,
Sounds
thank you,
good.
Ian.
I guess consensus-wise, we're okay with it.
Yes.
Something we can put on our January agenda? No.
I think you need to leave it alone.
I'm working it.
Sorry, guys.
She got that grin.
All right. Well, Ian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'll put that on for next Tuesday.
Have a great day, okay?
Okay, Ian, take care.
Thank you, Ian. Merry Christmas.
So I'll put that on for next Tuesday night. Sorry, y'all.
Wow, now we're gonna have a 6-minute meeting.
Sorry. Sorry.
Stretching it out there, stretching it.
Drive-through window.
All right, the next is department head reports. And let's go ahead and start with community improvement.
I had it, I set it down somewhere.
Well, he's
I was looking
right
for my
here.
report,
We got
so I
him.
set it down somewhere, but that's all right.
Let's keep him up here.
You're not CID.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I told him to stay, since he was here trying to move things along.
You're just gonna hog the show.
Very unfortunate this morning for that paperwork, sorry. Oh, you're the best. Thank you, sir.
It's like, let me pull up that email real quick.
Anyone have any questions for Terry?
Good morning,
this
by the
morning?
way.
When, do they have a date yet?
So we do not. So we got their final inspections last week. I'm waiting on elevation certificate and floodproofing certificates and those kind of things. So hopefully in the next.
That went up quick, huh?
Yeah, not as quick as they wanted it to, but it did
Really?
go up quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked, I've seen it at night. Have you seen it gone by there at night?
No.
It lights up very well.
Yeah, it's
a
nice.
nice
That's great.
Yeah, they got
Nice
the
little
LED lighting surrounding the.
Kind of like a lighthouse
edges of the
sitting up
building.
on that hill.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great, yeah.
And it's still not above flood.
It's still not above flood?
Well, we're in the old flood
Small lot,
zone.
probably hard to get it up.
Yeah.
That'd be a
And
drive to it.
any update on the Take 5? Have they?
So they submitted an application yesterday. I've requested full-size plans because it's really hard to read plans that large on a small screen. So they said they would get them to me shortly, so.
And hopefully they'll have all the stipulations, right, Arthur?
They
The
will get a permit if they don't.
the beautification things we asked for?
That's right.
Great. Good.
Feel really, okay. Anything you gotta tell us, or we're good?
So as of this moment, we are still go live for December 11th for our new EnerGov permitting software.
Great.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, that's great.
So starting tomorrow, we're not going to be able to use the IMS system because they're doing all the converting all the data. So anything that goes in after tomorrow would not come through in the new program. So things might 2 or 3 days before we can get started again with doing permit stuff. So might be a little bit of a slowdown there, but yeah.
Yeah, really.
So.
Okay.
Other than that, and then the business tax renewal late notices, the second round went out today, so.
Great.
All right,
Good.
thank you.
Okay, Sean, you can come up now. Love the work. Looks like you guys
My
been pretty
report.
busy lately.
Yeah, I set my report down somewhere. It's laying around in this building somewhere. Oh, I got one now. Marcy printed me one out. Any questions? I have answers if you have questions.
Very thorough.
Yeah, they are starting this morning over at Kelly's to replace that sewer lateral over there. They're gonna hammer that out and get it done before they open. Yeah, we thought it was gonna be okay, and we had a jet and kind of descaled, but it just, it's, yeah, we just don't need, issues, every 2 or 3 months. So, and the price was very, very fair. So we had found another good contractor that come pretty quick. So
Not a bad price on that dock.
no, not at all. And that's all wrap poles, stainless. Even has 1 or 2 fish cleaning tables with it too.
Very nice.
So yeah,
And I
actually,
guess it's gonna have I know now it's got like those metal benches on it.
yeah, we're gonna put something. Yeah, we're gonna get
Something
something.
made out of the Trex or whatever.
Yeah, we might. I'm either with having extra money. I might actually have him even build them and just bill me separate for those and just
Yeah.
build them right out of the
Throw
dock
up there, have a
material,
little
so it
back to
looks
lean against and
so it looks the same.
right up, build it right on.
Yeah, and we're just gonna change
Right up
the
to the rail.
shape of it a little bit, the way it is now, because it kind of is a T. We're gonna come and make an L and go towards the bridge, just so we're not so far on the other side, like on the property line.
Oh, yeah.
To give, because that
Right.
was, as far back as we could think, that was
Looked nice
either
that
in
way.
the late 80s or early 90s when that was built.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right. Anybody else have any questions for
good.
Sean? Okay,
Thorough. He didn't ask for money.
yeah.
No, good.
Not yet.
I got
Should've
some, I
said
got
it.
some saved.
Should've waited
There
till
you
he's
go.
back in his chair.
Saved 10 on the dock, so we're good. All right, thank you much.
All right.
All right, and now let's jump right into finance.
Guess I can start out with it. Are there any questions? I know there was a lot of paper there with the financial statements.
Well, I've read through it pretty thoroughly yesterday and this morning. Actually looked pretty good.
The biggest thing I wanted to give you all an update on was the September 30th, 2023 fiscal year-end financials, and just point out a couple things. We had an exceptionally good year in the general fund. We're actually showing a surplus at this point of $1,716,000. And back on page 3, I tried to dissect that out a little bit for y'all to show you where that's coming from. If you go back to page 300, general fund surplus, revenues came in about 8.5% higher than budgeted, so that contributed about $692,000 towards this surplus. So, yeah, we got a good year on that.
What do you attribute to increase the over budget to?
Well, down below, I listed the four, where it says surplus due to. Down right below it there, revenues collected in excess of budget, I highlighted CID came in at 142,000 more revenue than what we anticipated. Investment interest was 156,000 more than budgeted, and that's just rising interest rates is the reason for that versus when we did the budget. And our EMS funding came in at 152,000 over. There's a true-up on EMS funding every year, so I know this year we used every penny of the budget. We didn't really have to give any back, but in typical years, we have to give money back to the county. So I think that, you know, those 4 or 5 items right there is almost your 600,000, 692,000. And we budgeted a reserve of about 338,000, so that was expected to have that. Departments came in under budget on expenditures. All departments were about 392,000. And when I went in there trying to, on the next page there, I'm not going to go over them. On page 4, I kind of broke it out by department, the percent of budget used, and how much each department was under. But when you aggregate it, we came in at about 95.3% of budgeted expenditures, which is typically where I estimate will be. So I didn't see anything unusual with that item, but it did contribute to the surplus. And then I do still have to do, after audit, we have to do a transfer from general fund to capital to cover any expenditures that don't qualify for penny for Pinellas. So that's gonna take some analysis. We budgeted 292, but I don't know what 292,000, but I'm not sure what that's gonna actually come out to. So I expect the surplus to go down, but not dramatically.
Right.
You know, we're still at year-end audit process. We have to do some payroll accruals, but I only have to accrue 2 days of payroll this year, so at year-end, so it's not gonna be much. So, overall, I just wanted to point that out on the surplus. It kind of, that page 3 will give you the breakdown of what I think caused it, so. And then on the capital improvements budget on page 2, it says net revenues over expenditures, 5,565,200. I just like to point out, and page, I believe page 5 kind of summarizes it for me. That includes a number of items that typically wouldn't see in business type accounting. For example, the revenues of $13,355,000 include $9.9 million of loan proceeds. Typically, you wouldn't call that revenue in business, but in government, they look more at the sources of funds and the uses of funds. So that revenue includes $9.9 million loan proceeds. It includes about $1,984,000 in ARPA funding, and and I wanted to point out on the expenditure side, the $7,790,000 includes about $4,880,000 for fire station construction expenditures. So, on page 5, when you get a chance to look at it, I tried to say what would the general fund look like normally without the fire station and without, we also bought our ladder truck in '23, so that was $1 million. So page 5 kind of shows the revenues would normally have been around $1,024,000, expenditures $929,000, and that would have only netted a revenue. I think it's on page 4.
Does it say about all the fire trucks showing?
You know what, I don't know if I did, I don't know if I showed it in here. We didn't, I don't forget what we got for that fire truck. Was it 20,000? Or 10, or was it 10? 10, I was gonna say, I think we got 10, so.
That was just a curiosity.
Yeah, so I didn't pick that up because it would have got, yeah, it was probably buried in miscellaneous. It's in the financial statements, but I didn't put it in my analysis there, so. But the bottom line is, if you normalize that and took out the station and the trucks, we would have had a positive 95,000 is all for the year, as opposed to 5 million. So if we include the vehicles but back out the fire station, we would have been at a $949,000 deficit, so with the fire truck. So that's ordinary, but it's ordinary every 5 years. So you aren't gonna see years like that often. So I was just trying to give you an idea what it would look like on a normalized basis, so. But, any questions? Or just, okay. That's all I have for you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Let's go ahead right into public safety.
Morning.
I have a question. What is a lithium ion battery? Like, why would I have one?
You got an electric bike?
Yeah, most of your mobility devices these days, so electric scooter, electric bike, electric vehicle, like a Tesla, lithium ion, because it's holds a charge better. A lot of stuff coming out of New York City, the fires they are fighting, and we're starting to track it here in the county. Luckily, we have none to report as of yet. Very dangerous in the fact that the lithium ion battery can burn and produce its own oxygen. So a couple of the extinguishing methods that you would normally use, carbon dioxide, smothering with a blanket or stuff, won't work. Cooling with water can work. However, they burn very hot and very fast. And obviously, like the cars are encased in such a way that the water can't directly get to them. So if you notice some of the videos that are coming out now, if you see a Tesla fire like on the freeway or somewhere away from other exposures, you may see the fire department just backing off and letting it burn itself out. What they're finding also is if you do extinguish that type of fire, the chance for reignition is very high, up to like 5 months. So you'll have a car, you think it's extinguished, you pull it to a tow yard, 7 days later it reignites.
Is it also like when you plug in your drill? Is that the same
Yeah,
thing?
that's a lithium ion
Okay.
battery, correct.
These computers have lithium ions, most of them don't.
Yeah, almost
Yes.
everything we're seeing now, right?
This is
Oh,
powered by lithium.
yeah.
So what we're trying to do, and you'll see we put it out in this month's newsletter, things like that, probably try to get it on the webpage too. They're finding that people, one, it's very important to use the charger that it came with to avoid overcharge. So oftentimes you'll have multiple devices, like your drill is a perfect example, multiple power tools at home. Well, this charger's no longer working, but hey, it fits in this device. We're recommending not to do that.
Different amperage or something like that.
We just
And then
don't
you
know.
said take it, as soon as it charges, take it out?
Don't overcharge
Gotta
it.
talk to my husband about
Yes.
that.
People do that, right? Especially with the e-bikes, and that's I think the problem they're finding in New York City. They're using it for transportation. You live up high in an apartment building, you don't want it stolen, you take it up there with you inside your unit, plug it in, go to sleep, forget to unplug it, and it can overheat, yeah.
You have to, like the line, you only charge it until the green light comes on, which takes about from 3 hours, maybe, something like that. So either you plug it in when you get home, before you go to bed, you can unplug it. But once a month, they recommend you charge it for no longer than 12 hours to equalize the batteries, because they lose their equalization in the cells, because it's a number of batteries that are inside there.
But definitely
And
don't
that's the
leave it
time-
on like
That's the time something
overnight.
like that could happen, and then, of course, you've got a lot of people out there that are building their own, because it's cheaper, but they're making their own
chargers will
Like
cut
a
off
drill.
automatically when it's reached the voltage, they put the voltage in the battery, the smart chargers.
scary.
Are not being used very much.
Maybe they are, but like anything, there, yeah. So if you can control it, that's better. What they're finding too, especially in mobility devices, you know, if there's an accident, if there's a wreck and you're damaging it, but you're still using it, right? You may not see the damage internally. And like the mayor said, unfortunately, the size of the battery is usually increased just by adding more smaller batteries. So it's, I think they told us in a Tesla, it's like 7,000 individual batteries all looped together in some kind of like almost honeycomb device.
AA batteries.
Yeah, correct. And that's what people are doing. They're getting on the internet and going, well, if I buy 1,000 and make my own bank.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You probably have 1,000.
But just, I guess the main takeaway from there is the speed of these. They're calling it almost like a runaway reaction. Once one goes, how it spreads to the others is so fast, and the difficulty we have extinguishing it. So our goal is going to be to protect and get people out. But in theory, you know, if it happened at night and someone was asleep, it's so fast. It's going to be so important not to have it inside the, you know, the living quarters. Yeah. And there's videos, if you just do a YouTube and,
YouTube's full of
yeah.
them. I mean, it's like an explosion.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, good, now I know.
Yeah, we've posted notices at the condo where I manage, letting people know about this, that it could happen. Not store it in their units, you know, keep it somewhere else, that sort of deal. People do what they want to do, though, we can't make them not.
Wow.
But at least we warned them and try to get some kind of liability off of us. So.
And it's like anything, right? As you see more and more, you know, what would be a, you know, a small possibility grows with the number that are in the city. So something to keep an eye on. The state's got some mandatory reporting requirements if we do see them. And then we're working on the SOP for how to handle the vehicles right now, and that'll be followed up with the mobility devices. So, yep, a lot going on.
Wow.
New folks are doing well. Caught up with our inspections. We got 3 that are we got re-inspections for this year that we're trying to get wrapped up. Some pretty interesting situations. Of course, you guys ask about the lithium battery stuff. Call volume remains fairly consistent, and of course, our neighbors are helping us with our response time compliance, which we really appreciate that. We work well with our neighboring departments. That's one thing that makes us very happy. They really, you know, there's no real jurisdictional issues. We help each other out, and it's pretty seamless. We are due, and I gave the invoice to Jim. The new generator is in for the EOC. And our 1/3 payment is due $49,974, and then we'll have a brand new generator for the EOC. Should we need it?
Great.
Speaking of need it, we're gonna celebrate the staff at the PCC again for helping us out with Idalia. Yeah, they've got so many of these. I think they're running out of space on their wall now. But probably looking at January because we just got this in. There's some, like anything, some supply chain issues. So we won't try to rush it into December before the holidays. I'll contact the church. I know last time they preferred to come in the day meeting instead, so I'll give them that option again. But they are tremendous. You guys know that. I mean, to have a staff at an EOC, you know, basically that's a cold EOC, we turn it on last minute and they're there to help us out is you can't, you know, express enough how important that is for our operation. The Mike Allstott Foundation brought us a turkey again this year. It was on a Saturday this year, so maybe they're trying to keep things moving and not have so many chiefs asking for photos and whatnot. Who knows?
Keep the chiefs out of the shop.
Yeah, make it a better photo.
And then they show up early and throw everybody off. I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting for them to show
You
up.
were supposed to be there, right?
I went to Walmart to pick up a prescription. I'm like, oh, I got a half hour to go. Got there, sat in the
I
parking
just
lot.
happened to be there, and I,
So,
So I have to leave. So I'm gonna turn this over to you, Tom, the rest of the meeting.
Okay,
You got lunch, your admin, and whatever back on the agenda.
throw me the
I have
hammer.
an appointment I can't miss.
Oh, you throw you
So-
the hammer.
Throw me the
Yeah.
hammer.
Throw the hammer.
You guys pass that down to the man.
Okay.
And, thank you, everyone, and I'll see you at
I'll see you
the,
Friday.
at the next meeting, if not sooner, and the boat parade. Let's not forget.
Boat parade.
Boat parade.
Friday all day. Okay.
6:30.
Did you guys see, I just thought it was real neat to put these aerial photos in.
Yeah, it's great.
That's,
Different perspective.
and that's from the last department head report till now. And
Wow.
that amount of work is just tremendous, so, looking forward to it. We did have a change in superintendent. The one we were working with, I thought was doing an excellent job. Unfortunately, some personal issues have pulled him away from the job. And, but what they did is they pulled the superintendent who just finished Station 46 in Clearwater. So he was, he just finished that station and worked with the same architect we're working with on this one, so. Yeah, we'll meet him tomorrow at our meeting and hopefully, not miss a beat there. And then we did, get, I included this notice from the state that, they're reviewing our grant. We're working with Guardian Grant Advisors for the City Hall generator project. I got an email late yesterday afternoon that, it's their first RFI, request for information, and they want it by Thursday. So I'm hoping to meet with our grant advisor this afternoon. He thinks he'll be able to get it done by then, but yeah, I just love it how you keep. Yeah, so anyway, we'll work through that. We'll be scrambling the next couple days, get them the information they want. And the fact that they're speaking with us, we think is a positive. So we'll continue to work through that. I know that was fast. Any additional questions on that report you guys got? Thank you. Oh, one thing I did notice too, you know, the county sends us the monthly reports, and you know, there's fluctuations in crime like you know, normal fluctuations, but I noticed year to date our assaults had jumped up from 25 year to date 2022 to 42 year to date. So, you know, an assault's something serious. So I called Captain Liner. He's getting more detailed information, but he says most likely what's causing it is they changed about 18 months to 2 years ago. They're using a different reporting system with the state, where in the past, to be considered an assault, it had to be with a deadly weapon, knife or gun. They've changed it in such a way that even without a weapon, if I threaten you and you feel that I'm enough of a threat on my own that you feel for your health or safety, that can be considered felony assault. So you may just see numbers where before it would have been, you know, a misdemeanor, you know, threat, argument, whatever, based on the two individuals and how the victim perceives the perpetrator, it could be considered felony assault.
Yeah, 'cause assault differs from battery. Assault is you can be verbally assaulted, and if they change the reporting.
But the whole key there is the fear of, you know,
Yeah.
severe harm, so,
Exactly.
you know, okay. But yeah, it was enough of a change, I was like, what is causing that, so. But it's, you know, it's neat that they give us those reports.
Really detailed too.
Yeah. Alrighty,
Thanks, Chief.
you're welcome.
Okay, I guess that just leaves administration.
That
doesn't it?
leaves me, yep. Okay, so we can jump to the end real quick.
Okay.
Excuse me, sorry.
That's a quick one to finish.
This is quick, yeah, just jump to the end, we're done. Just so you all know, there will be a night meeting next week. There is not a second workshop in December, so the night meeting next week is our last regularly scheduled meeting for this year. We are scheduled to return after the holidays with a meeting on January 2nd. So with that being very close to a holiday, please let staff know if you have any plans that conflict. Because if we don't have a quorum or we need to move something, we'd rather know in advance than have a meeting and not have enough people that day. So if something comes up or your plans change or you get stuck somewhere, please let us know so that we can adjust on the 2nd if we need to. Let's see, there are some watering restrictions that went into effect countywide starting on December 1st. So that was issued by the county with, in coordination with SwiftMud. That was not a city initiative, but it does apply to the city. So we're trying to get that information out there to people. So if you get any questions on that, it does apply to us, but it was not a city initiative, because we've gotten some calls on, why did you do this? And it's like, it wasn't us. We do have to follow it, but we did not issue it. We didn't get enough rain this year.
Is anybody monitoring that? Because, there's some people watering every day.
I would guess that it may be more of a complaint-driven monitoring
Yeah.
situation. There are special circumstances. I think they make certain. I don't know this for a fact, but if you're planting new things, a lot of times that doesn't apply. You get a little bit of a grace period for extra watering if you've redone something. But if it's just regular watering and you haven't installed anything new, I would assume that enforcement's most likely going to be complaint-driven.
This doesn't cover reclaimed water that's used, like at Bay Island, we water everything with reclaimed water there. Does that include that?
I think it
read it
does.
I believe it does.
It's everything.
Even covers if you're pulling water out of like surface ponds.
Yeah.
Or,
I
Yeah,
believe
it's
so.
everything.
I think it's everything.
We have reclaimed on the island.
Yeah.
So, I believe so.
Because there's still water in there. They just run around, they're cyclic. So.
I will have Sean reach back out to you because he confirmed with the county to make sure that, what was covered and what was not.
This
So,
name's at our maintenance department now.
yeah, because it went into effect on Friday. So we're trying to get that information out there. But so if you get any questions on that, the information's on our website also and on our Facebook page. We're trying to share it with people, but so just be aware. Staff would be asking for the commission's approval to go ahead and issue holiday gift cards to the staff in lieu of doing an employee holiday party. We would like to plan another one starting next year. I've spoken with the mayor about this, but he's not here at the moment. Adjusting the budget a little bit to potentially do a party and a gift for staff instead of having to choose one or the other. Just with costs are just up everywhere, and staff is really appreciating anything that helps kind of handle the cost of the holidays. So if you all are okay with it, we'd like to go ahead and use those funds for a gift card for staff again this
Yeah,
year, if that's
that's
okay
fine.
with you.
Is that consensus? That all you
What
need?
kind
Yeah,
do
all
you,
on these consensus,
Yeah.
that's an
Yeah.
internal decision, yeah.
what do you issue? What kind of gift cards?
Well, we've been doing Amazon,
Okay.
so,
Not everything.
yeah, I mean, it,
Not just a Visa gift card, they don't use it anywhere.
well, the issue with a Visa
Fine.
gift card is there's a
They-
cost
Oh,
to
that's,
it.
I know they got a fee. that.
Not only
You have a
that,
fee.
but they,
That's right.
if you don't use them right away, they start taking money off the card.
It's a little funky.
I
but
forgot.
You didn't, you
I
don't
forgot
know
how
that
that
until
got-
it happens
I
to you.
forgot that it happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
okay.
so if that's okay with you all, we'll go ahead and do that.
That sounds good.
Okay, and then, just kind of an update on the PSTA board appointments. So the cities are to notify PSTA of their, decision on who they're voting for their representative by December the 15th. Ours would be Vice Mayor Reed, because you all selected him way back in August. So we'll confirm that again with them. I've told them several times, but they've asked it multiple times through the process, so I'll tell them again. And then we'll find out, I would assume, maybe them early the following week. With the,
Already won the vote of the city of Seminole. They
yeah, I
sent me a
think
letter.
they sent a letter.
I
so.
speak before Gulfport this evening.
Okay.
And I'm still waiting. I've spoken in front of Kenneth City. I'm waiting to hear back what they're
Okay.
doing. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. So,
Careful
A
over
lot
there.
of
yeah. So we'll report that to them again and then just wait to.
And it may be the shortest tenure in the history of.
It may be,
PSTA.
it kind of leads
Based
into
on-
the next item,
yeah.
unless if you have any other questions for me, then unless you
No,
want to
no,
go straight into the next one. It's-
Yeah, which is gonna be the
it's-
last thing on the agenda, right, other than my VOG?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, go
it's
ahead.
kind of how you want to do that, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Are we
Or
moving
does
into
anybody have
that?
other
Representative
questions
Linda
for me,
Cheney
so?
has got a bill forth that has cleared the local delegation that basically radically restructures the board of PSTA in the term. So if I get on the board, I'll be lucky to be on there till June if her bill passes as written. Because then our city would be lumped in with Largo, Pinellas Park, and more contiguous than it is now. Like, it doesn't make any sense that our seat is us, Gulfport, Kenneth City, Seminole, and then you got the Bel Airs at the other end. And it doesn't make sense to me, so I kind of like that aspect of her bill. But then it would be on a rotating basis every 3 years. Like when Joe was on before, he was 9 years on the seat. Under her bill, you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd be 3 years and it would rotate down to cities based on their population. So, you know, there's a lot of consternation on that. I discussed it with several people at the Florida League of Cities. There's a lot of different feelings on where this thing is actually going to go, whether Senator Rouson will use his privilege to kill it, and if he does, if somebody will bring it back. So we're on a...
So the whole
We
idea
don't
is they
know.
want to go through the county commission.
Correct.
And get rid of the PSTA board. But wouldn't we still want representation
But-
for PSTA?
Well, we would get representation. We would be in our seat would be changed, with Largo being the largest city in our group. So based on population, they would, say I win this thing and I go on the board in January, and the bill passes, it would take effect in July 1st. So then the seat would be reconstituted to represent the cities, starting with Largo on down. Largo would have first dibs on it because they're the highest populated city. Then, if assuming they, and I know they will, put somebody on in that seat, 3 years later, it would then go down to the next largest city. And if they didn't want it, then it would go to the next, and so on and so forth. But you'd only be on for 3 years, which I kind of think that's not a bad thing, so that every city has a seat at the table,
Eventually.
if they want it. You know, I had a lengthy 45-minute conversation with Representative Cheney the day before Thanksgiving, her and her staff over this bill. And that's what she said. She goes, yes, it would be in descending order of population, but if a city, for example, the seat's up now and only myself and Joe Barkley expressed any interest in it. So under that scenario, it could pass right down to us after Largo, because I know Largo would definitely want a seat on it. And Largo's gonna fight as hard as they can to maintain their own independent seat. So where this goes, we don't know. Because like I said, at the League of Cities Legislative Conference last week, there was a lot of thoughts, hopes, and prayers, I guess is the best way to put it.
From reading all of this, what is the reason they want to get rid of the PSTA board? And go to, is it?
Representative Cheney feels that the board is too large at 15.
Oh,
She wanted to cut it to 9, and now she's compromised to 11.
But they're not trying to replace it with county commissioners?
If you look at how she proposes to constitute the board, it puts a lot of emphasis on county commissioners. It gives a lot of power to the county on eminent domain, and she's trying to take, one of the main things she's trying to prevent from happening is this grab of lanes like we had happen here before. You know, she's trying to take that authority away from PSTA. That if it happens, it has to be approved by, I think, 2/3 of the county board, if I remember.
Well, because the cities that they don't have the lane issues in the
Correct.
cities. We do. St. Pete Beach does.
Right.
St. Pete does with this mess they made out of First Avenue,
Mm,
north and south. It's a mess. And, you know,
Left
when
lane.
I mean, I can see, I don't know,
They
you never
spent
see a
lot
bus
of money
there.
on that,
A lot of
too.
money.
Oh, my gosh.
An awful lot of money.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a big fan of the PSTA group, not the group, the people that do the work, the leadership.
Right.
And because we dealt with the leadership trying to avoid a lot of the things that they pulled off. But I guess it would be a lot for the county to take that on. And so you kind of got to look at it both ways, but I'm in favor of having representation.
Yeah, and that's why I want to be on it. I figure we need a seat at the table.
Sure,
So, that's all I've got on that.
okay.
And that was just an update item, because there is
Okay.
no action being asked of the city
Right.
at this time. It's
Just
a
kind
little
of an
bit out
update.
of our hands.
Okay.
But it's more just to make you all aware of it, because
Yeah.
it does affect the city. So we just wanna make sure y'all know kind of what's going on with it.
Yes.
There's not much we can do at the moment, so.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
So move on to the next item?
It's up to you.
Okay, the next item is the vertical oyster garden, which I don't know if anybody knows what that is.
Love it.
I had a conversation with some friends on my dock, and they were telling me about an article the Tampa Bay Times did about vertical oyster gardens. And so I read the article, and I thought, well, that sounds really interesting. And something I think maybe we as a city could encourage our residents to get behind. You know, so I had a meeting with Tampa Bay Watch that runs the vertical oyster garden. I went out there and met with them, and they were kind enough to give me a couple of these. And that's basically what a vertical oyster garden is when it starts out. And they get they have, I forget how many restaurants save their used oyster shells, provide them to Tampa Bay Watch. They drill them, put them on these things, and hand them out to residents for free. And you basically hang this underneath your dock, however many you want, and you hang it to the level where you see your barnacles on the dock, and that's your main high tide line. And I didn't realize oysters can survive outside of the water. I mean, who knew? I learned more about oysters than I really wanted to. Primarily, why do I even eat them? Because every oyster filters 50 to 60 gallons of water per day. So, as we all know, when we had some people coming here to have docks added, there was a lot of resistance because of the threat to seagrass. And one of the things that they told me at Tampa Bay Watch is because it keeps the water clearer, it helps grow seagrass, or helps the seabeds grow. So I thought this was a great way to maybe incorporate to the block party, because Tampa Bay Watch can send people out, they can actually build them if they want while they're here, to encourage the residents to hang these beneath their docks. And you should have a picture in there that shows after, 2 years it looks like.
Yeah.
I love it.
It brings a little, yeah. And they're pretty cool to watch. I mean, I think they're.
Maybe they'll get rid of the boats in the bay.
Well, I was thinking I'll start taking my kayak out and hanging them off the boats. So,
Well, seriously, I mean, I talked to a resident who said if we could make, like an oyster beds out there somehow, they'd have to go, then they'd have to go.
Yeah.
Because, you want these things to thrive.
Well, yeah, but you see how long it takes for an oyster bed. Look at this, 2 years on the rope.
Yeah, true.
But they're also, they also provide bags of oyster shells if somebody wanted to put them along the sea line, or shoreline, rather.
I think it's great.
So I just wanted to bring this to your all's attention. There's your vertical oyster garden. And I thought it
I'm
would just
gonna do it.
I think it would be a great idea for us as a city to promote it, and how we do it is, you guys know I like to come to you with ideas. I think that you need to figure out the details.
Well, if you wanted it, so you don't have any answers for us, is that what
I haven't heard a question.
Well, if I wanted one today, where do I get it?
There you
There
go.
you go.
There you go.
Next question.
I'm gonna do it.
Next
I'm gonna
question,
ask Sean for some help.
do you ever get any edible oysters out of this?
I don't know that the oysters that grow in this area are
I
edible.
believe the water's cold.
Water
enough.
doesn't look.
Yeah, I mean, and again, now that I know what an oyster does, I'm not sure I'll ever eat them again.
Don't, please. Don't go
Well,
there.
it's nature's filter.
Yeah, no, I love
It's
it.
like
I'm
eating
gonna
your
do
own
it.
cake.
But I mean, really, if we did wanna get some more of these,
Tampa Bay Watch, I can meet with them, I can arrange to have them, they would even deliver them here to City Hall or Public Works, wherever we want to, for citizens to
I
come
think
pick
it's
them
a
up.
great idea.
I mean, we could even get I've got 2 kayaks, you could even offer to go around in kayaks and get underneath people's dock and hang them for them. You can hang them from the sides, you can hang them underneath the dock where they don't even
We'll be
see 'em.
hanging this one with
You
your
better have beer
kayak.
out there when I
Baby.
show up.
No, I think it's a great idea. I really
Yeah,
do.
so if you think of it, and
So even if the tide level goes down,
the oysters still live.
they could still be.
So this is obviously a non-living shell. It doesn't have, but apparently oysters, when they're like plankton, and they zip around and then they latch onto hard surfaces, as she called it, substrate, and then they just continue to grow. And so these shells actually attract more oysters that you can't see in their current state.
I think it's
It attracts
I'm
baby
all
oysters
for
and
it.
then they grow.
Exactly. I mean, it's a pretty boring life to be an oyster because, I mean, once you latch on, that's where you hang out until
Sunk in that
eternity.
water.
You know, your days of travel are long over. But again, every single oyster, when it filters 50 to 60 gallons of water per day, just think of exponential growth of the oysters. And if it helps grow the seagrass, then that's a good thing. And
Well, the whole city's around water, so
well,
we
that's
might
what I
as well
thought
take
about. And
advantage of
so
it.
the Tampa Bay Watch is very eager to work with us in any way that we as a commission decide to do it. But that's my project for today. So do we need to get consensus to move forward in some way to formally embrace this project?
It depends on what you want us to do.
Well, I'd like to see, for example, have it at the block party. Get Tampa Bay Watch
That's what I
to
was
come to the
thinking,
block
maybe,
party.
And bring a bunch of them and give
Bring
them
a
out.
bunch of them and bring a table with the shells to, let people maybe get kids to build them. Because, well, we don't want kids operating hand drills because you see it's a pretty big drill bit that goes through there. But, hey, that's something for your brother. We can get him a bucket of oysters. And
I'll
he can
get him
sit-
to- I'll get him
He's got his
to do
drill,
it.
apparently.
Yeah, I was, as you were talking, I was like, we should invite them just to have a bunch of them and give them out.
Yeah, I invited Reagan Fenestry's her name. That she's the Vertical Oyster Garden VOG coordinator for Tampa Bay Watch,
Wow.
and she was not able to make it today. But
Well, and I think too, maybe put it in our newsletter
Yeah.
that we're talking about, or even their copy of their letter. I think it's a great idea.
yeah, then we can kind of maybe see how it grows organically. No pun intended. You know, just by kind of putting it out there and seeing who's interested in picking up some of these up.
Yeah.
I mean, individual homeowner could say, I want one, or I want to ring my dock in them. It's up to you.
And they provide as many, they
Yeah.
just,
Yep.
okay.
And they even give you the metal eyelet to put into your dock with each one. Yeah.
That's nice.
So I was saying, you get somebody who's got a kayak and a power drill and battery operated drill. You just go in and zzz, screw it in, you hang it.
An ion battery.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't drop that ion battery in seawater.
No,
So,
it won't
okay.
go out.
Well, speaking of the block party, can we circle back just a second?
Sure.
Actually, I wanted to make sure that we confirm the tentative date for that. That was in my report, and so if we're,
23rd.
because staff is really going to ramp up even during the holiday, and kind of between now and January, really start confirming things.
23rd of March, is that what it said?
Mhm.
Okay.
That was our tentative date. We'd like to. I don't know if Sean wants to.
When's Easter?
The next weekend, the weekend after that. It's not that weekend.
Okay,
We looked it up.
Yeah, that works. For me.
I got it.
Easter 12. Yeah,
And
March 31st. So it's the
March 3rd,
the
March
following
23rd.
weekend. March 23rd is the day that we're proposing for the
Okay.
block party, which, as far as we know, our car show vendor is available for that day. So we'd
Oh,
like
good.
to go ahead and start booking.
Sounds good.
if we can.
Okay, one other thing that I can think
So,
of.
but we'll put Tampa Bay
Yeah,
Watch
okay,
on there
sounds good.
for them. Can you
Um,
send
the
me? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner.
The fire union is having their holiday celebration, luncheon kind of thing, December 13th and 14th.
Okay.
And we are cordially invited. And they have a band and music, and those of us who haven't been there before, it's at their place on First Avenue North.
Yeah.
So
13th and 14th.
13th and 14th.
Yeah, they do it on 2 days so that shift crew can go.
Okay.
Is that on our calendar?
Not on our calendar.
It's not because it's not a public event.
It's a good
just
thing.
the commission is invited, but it's not a public event. But I can send you the information. They should have a flyer. Yeah, I'll make sure you all
Yeah,
get the
he said
flyer.
that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll get the
Definitely.
flyer. Yeah.
Hey, anybody have anything else? We are adjourned.
Good job.
Now the day job's working.
Harry, I got a question for you.